Good evening, all. You know who this is, so probably don't need no introduction to me. They call me the Montana Natural Man, for those of you that don't know. Ernie-Wayne is my proper name. I have a subject I'd like to discuss tonight with you guys, and it would be about the word sovereignty. It's a word that I hear bannered around a whole lot these days, kind of kicked around like a football. I read tons and tons of documents and research and all kinds of stuff on it, and you know I really haven't found anybody who's dissected the word, broke it down into the triple parts that it's actually formulated in, and brought forward the hidden information that links together within the word itself. Opportunity arose to do this film interview tonight, and so I've made a few pages of notes and brought along with me a teeny percentage of my resource books, show you all the various sightings that I'm going to pull out of for what I have to say and what I have to show here. As by now you've seen on the camera, starting in the word sovereign, you'll know that it's a triple conjunctive, and I learned 9 years ago to suspect absolutely every conjunctive in the English language. I'll move my fingers here just in case I'm blocking any of my notes. As I talk along, I'll have to turn notes from time to time so I can keep myself kind of on point. I want you all to be able to stop it on your side and have a look at what I've written. Bear with me, as centuries of convolution end up being convoluted on paper. To track it down is a terribly twisted trail, and I've tried to make it simple as I can for this interview. There's so much more, but literally we could talk for days about what's in here. So let's get started. I found in my studies on it that this conjunctive, like so many conjunctives in the English, is actually written out of order. You'll see that I've broken the word apart into its three parts and written 1, 2, 3 above the sections. The order of the word actually should begin with the third part, the ein. And as you can tell in the upper left-hand corner here, ein in the German dictionary, which I wish to show you, the German dictionary that I use is my 1945 German English Everyday Usage Dictionary. Nothing fancy about it. It's a standard issue. Granted, it's made 1945. And in here it will tell you that ein means qualified. Okay? So remember that, because that's a key portion. What we're doing here is we're tracking information. When we reach the conclusion of what we're tracking, we'll have some kind of an animal, but for right now, we're following hoof prints, if you would. So the EIGN in that 1945 German dictionary means qualified. Do not forget this. To return to the notes, the one, also in the German, known as ein. The ein will be minus the G. The G, EIGN alone means qualified. Ein without the G is one. You still have the intent of one, and one that is qualified. Okay? So qualification requires characteristic. And characteristics of what? What characteristics, or what characteristic singular, makes one qualified to claim what title, hold what office, or be what in life? What is that characteristic? Well, we're going to find out in just a minute here. Now, as we move on down here, as I broke this down in I wish to show you this book, because I know there are many think I make this up as I go along. Bear with me. I'm going to show you the evidence. This is my 1945 Webster's New Collegiate Dictionary, and in here it will tell you on page 693 that the ain also can be spelled A-N with a long A in the Anglo-Saxon, ain. It means, in highlights, there's much more to it, single unit, single being, single thing. So singularity is what is being pointed out here, which narrows it down to characteristic, then, as the plural form seems to be put away. So, qualities, characteristics of only one. Well, that'd be quality, and the characteristic of something that is singular of only one. Thus, because it's a singular quality with a singular character, ownership is expressly implied. Okay, ownership due to singularity is implied, is expressed. In the French, bear with me, I want to show you this one. This is my 1968 French-English, English-French dictionary. It too is a standard issue. Everyday usage, there's nothing fancy about it, it's not hard to find, you just have to have a nose for old books. You got to develop the eye. A lot of this stuff you won't find on the internet. They're not going to let it get put up here. Inside this book, back to my notes, you're going to learn that in the French, just like in the Scottish, the ain of the Anglo-Saxon is the AIN of the French and the Scottish. German is the ein, or the qualified ain. Anglo-Saxon is the long AN. Ain is all very important. I realize this seems like I'm, tilting at windmills, but bear with me. This is going to be highly impactful in your life. If you wish to comprehend sovereign, sovereignty, you must know this information. Thus, the ain becomes the lead part of that phrase. I said it was written out of order. Number 3 should be number 1. On page 943 of that 1945 Webster's, the SO, number 1, so, transfers just what you see. So, also known as sa, or as sway, and think sway as in swearing in at the court when you put your hand on the Bible and are swearing in. All right, this links together. Ultimately, the word so, when it is summed up like a mathematical equation, it has 100% standing, means it is so. It is alleged and it is written that when the Christ perished upon the cross, his final words is, or were, it is finished. He could just as well have said, it is so, because it had standing. It was done. It was ionized. It was concluded. He had fulfilled his mission. The word so means mission fulfilled. It is so. What mission is it? The mission is to define the quality, the characteristic of the one making the claim to be a sovereign. Now this applies to you, each one of you that claim to be a sovereign. What quality is it you have? What characteristic is it that you have that makes you so? Here comes the next part, the ver. The ver on page 1112 of that same Webster's, in the Scottish dialect means vera, which means very in the English. So you have a quality, a characteristic that you are so verily known by. Okay? Veracious, from the Latin. Let me show you this one. Here's my Castle's Latin-English, English-Latin dictionary, published 2009 publication. Get these at Barnes & Noble for 20 bucks. You'll have to have one. It's not an if, it's a must. Veracious means, from the Latin veraz with a Z on the end, probably an S, verus, true, veritas, true, true, The Christ said, "It is written, I trow not," which means, of a truth, I tell you not. Okay? Now, what I'm trying to say to you here in this convoluted tracking of the animal that lives in this word is that the animal is identified as you claim to be it. So what characteristic, what quality is it that you claim to have that you are so truthfully qualified to be known as? You want to be known as a sovereign? By what qualification? I ask you, quo warranto, by what authority do you claim sovereignty? Are you seeking man's recognition? Or are you camping on the grantor of the domain natural for that recognition, universal recognition, as what is called a sovereign? Remember the yellow French dictionary I showed you? Page 458. It will tell you, under the word souverain, okay? Sovereign, supreme. Souveraineté becomes sovereignty, and sovereignty is the territory of a sovereign. But we have to remain fixed on the identity of that by identifying the quality and the character of what's claiming to be a sovereign. Okay? One truly known so to be so. Let me know when I need to take a break here a minute.
Well, let me just ask you this. When you said the sovereignty was the property of, it's also the characteristic of
If you can hold
the
it.
owner of the property.
If you can hold it. If you can't hold it, it can't be.
Well,
You have to be able to hold it.
That's a given natural law in nature.
Exactly.
Whatever you can hold is what you got. And if you can't hold it, it can be removed or taken from you.
Which is exactly why nature has been put under challenge by some closed society.
Western science included, now that they're in bed with the federal government.
Yes, indeed. Okay, from the castles, Latin, English. I'll show you again. I don't make this stuff up. I actually go get the books and open them up and study it out and write it down. Sovereign. You can substitute the words Rex Dominus Princeps. Welcome to Rome. That would be a characteristic of one who claims to be a sovereign. And who would that one be? Oh, welcome to the popery. The word pope, the title, pope. Sorry, I'm getting all hung up here.